I've been there scrolling through endless listings, seeing guitars that look like they belong on a stage, only to get them home and realize the tremolo feels stiff, the neck doesn't sit right, or the pickup tone sounds flat in a real-world jam. It's the kind of buyer hesitation that makes you pause before you click Add to Cart, especially when you're spending a few $100s on an instrument you hope will actually inspire you to play. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down what the Ibanez ATZ300 Andy Timmons signature does in a typical bedroom or small venue setup, and why it might be the sweet spot for some players and a miss for others. First off, the ATZ300 is built around a mahogany body, a maple neck, and a rosewood fingerboard materials you'll see across many mid-range Ibanez models. What makes it different is the 3-humbucker configuration paired with the Wilkinson-Gotoh tremolo bridge, a combo that Andy Timmons himself helped shape. In practice, that means you get a fairly warm low end from the mahogany, a bright snap when you bite into the bridge pickup, and a fairly smooth mid-range from the middle humbucker. When I plugged it into a modest 20-watt practice amp, the tone filled the room without sounding muddy, and the humbucking pickup stack gave enough output to sit comfortably under a modest overdrive pedal without needing to crank the amp. Now, let's talk about setup. The ATZ300 arrives mostly ready to play, but because it's a signature model, the factory tremolo is set up with a medium string gauge in mind. If you're a player who prefers lighter strings for bending, you'll want to adjust the bridge springs and possibly change the nut slots to avoid string buzz. That's not a deal breaker, but it's a hidden trade-off that many first-time buyers overlook. I spent about 15 minutes tightening the spring tension and filing the nut, and the bridge became buttery smooth enough that subtle vibrato works without any pitch wobble. If you're not comfortable tweaking a tremolo, you might find that a fixed bridge guitar would give you more plug-and-play confidence. Who should actually consider the ATZ300? If you're a guitarist who wants a versatile tool for rock, blues, and a bit of shred without pulling the trigger on a high-end boutique model, this guitar hits a lot of marks. The 3 humbuckers give you tonal flexibility, clean jazz-like tones from the neck pickup, crunchy rhythm tones from the middle, and searing leads from the bridge. I used it for a small cover band gig, swapping between clean arpeggios on a Fender-style rhythm song and a soaring solo on a classic rock track. The pickup switching was seamless, and the tone stayed consistent. Players who already own a decent amp and a couple of pedals will get a lot of mileage out of it right away. On the flip side, if you're chasing ultra-high-gain metal tones that demand aggressive low-end response, you might feel the mahogany body doesn't bite as hard as an alder or basswood slab. The ATZ300's output is moderate, so you'll often need to push your amp or add a high-gain pedal to reach that saturated metal sound. Also, the Wilkinson-Gotoh tremolo, while reliable, isn't as stable as a Floyd Rose style for extreme dive bombs. I tried a rapid bar dive while recording a short solo, and the pitch recovered quickly, but after a few aggressive moves the bridge started to lose a fraction of its return speed. If you're a player who lives on the edge of whammy bar tricks, you might consider a guitar with a locking tremolo system instead. Another practical strength is the neck profile. The maple neck on the ATZ300 feels fairly slim, which makes fast fretting comfortable for players with smaller hands or those who enjoy shredding. In a live rehearsal, I could run down the entire scale in a single sweep without feeling cramped, a real benefit if you spend a lot of time practicing scales or improvising. The Rosewood fingerboard adds a subtle warmth to the attack, and the 22-fret layout gives you a decent upper range without the need to shift positions dramatically. A point that often gets missed in spec sheets is the guitar's weight. At roughly 8 pounds, it's light enough to hold for an hour of gigging without shoulder fatigue, yet solid enough to stay stable when you're standing still. I've played standing for a full set at a local bar, and the guitar never felt like it was sliding around on my strap. That kind of balance is a practical advantage you'll notice only after you actually strap it on. Let's touch on aesthetics for a second because the look does matter when you're on stage. The black finish is understated, and the signature ATZ logo on the headstock gives it a subtle badge of authenticity without screaming signature model. It blends well with both dark and colorful pedal boards, which is a nice touch if you like to keep your rig visually cohesive. Now, value for money. The ATZ300 sits in the $400 $500 range on